the buyers had it sewn up. They were the kings of the fashion industry. They chose which brands went into their stores, and they made brands and broke brands. And of course the editors made or broke them in terms of press. Now that's changed. Now you can go online and create your own website and start selling your product tomorrow yourself. There are places like, not on the high street, there's places like Beyond the Valley who can help you. There's places like fashionstate.com, ustrendy.com, threadless.com, all of whom do take your designs and put them online, and then the consumers vote if they want to eventually buy it. There's all sorts of ways to market now. It's no longer a case of just queuing up at the buyer at Selfridge's door and then that person saying, yes, I'll have you, but I won't have you, and the people who aren't in Selfridge's basically don't make it. Of course it's important to be in the top stores in London and in the other cities, but not as important as it was. And so you're really lucky to be coming into the industry or about to start in the industry at this time, because the internet has democratized the industry so that there's now no excuse for not being able to sell a really good product. The challenge is if you haven't got a really good product at a really great price with a really great idea and some idea of how you're going to make some money from it, then it's tough. It's always going to be tough for you. But hopefully the internet and the way that the industry is now being structured, I think it's now far more easy to sell a product or directly contact the consumer. Of course you can talk about e-commerce. Of course you can talk about, okay, well, go down to the Portobello Road, rent a pitch and start selling your product. I think there's all sorts of ways you could try and sell it to your friends and family. Sell your product to your friends and family. They're probably going to be the most ardent critics of your work. Sell the samples and try and get feedback on what you should be doing differently. There's all sorts of different routes to market now. Tomorrow there'll be another route that is another thing that's being created. Don't assume that the only route is via the buyers, although it is, of course, the majority still, of course, go that way, and there is some level of wholesale business to most fashion brands. Before you start thinking about the route to market, you must think about your consumer. Who is the person who is eventually going to buy this thing that you're designing, or this concept that you've created? Who is eventually going to go in to Beyond the Valley and actually buy the product? Christiane had to think about that. And she thought about, well, where do they shop? What brands do they normally have? And what are they looking for that we can offer them? And what is the right location for us to be in that's going to be able to attract that type of consumer? So think about the person who's going to eventually buy your product and answer those questions in your head, and maybe look at other brands that consumer would probably buy, and look at what they're doing, look at their price points, look at where they're stocked, so that you can not copy them, but understand what your competition is and what they're doing right, and most importantly what they're doing wrong, where they're missing a trick.